I've fallen down a very specific rabbit hole where basically I have been reading reviews like it's an addiction. I've been reading reviews from people from other countries. Okay, so they don't live in the US, but they come here from all over the world. And I have been reading their reviews of having Doritos for the first time. And y'all, I think we did crack again because when they come over here, it's people from France being like, I had one, my friend offered me one, and then when I looked down, I don't know how much time had passed, but there were 6 bags on the ground. And this is my thing, like, maybe what we are doing with Doritos is bad, you know what I mean? Because when you read the back of a bag of Doritos and you look at the ingredients, they all are words longer than what should be in food. If you read the back of a bag of Doritos, it looks like the recipe for meth, right? It's just a lot of propylene glycol sounding stuff and everything. So no wonder they come from around the world. They come from Europe, Asia. They get addicted and everything. It's sad to watch. It really is, because then they're in the review, they're like, I just ate so many and I couldn't stop. And then if you're reading it as an American, you like, yeah. Like, this isn't exactly news or anything, you know? If anything, that's on you for getting 6 of the little bags. You should have got a family-size bag. You know what I mean? If it's just you eating by yourself, you get the family-size bag. It is fiscally irresponsible what you're doing right now. Just getting 6 bags of the little ones like you gonna stop or something. You can't control yourself. You're in it now. You know? And sometimes I see him. Sometimes I see him over. I'm like, you know him. You know him when you see him because you can check the fingers, right? You know? Let me see your hands. And you see the hands like addicted. What a shame. Because no other country lets their companies do to the people what we let the companies do to us as far as ingredients. Like, we're like, man, it's very good. It's so good. It is good. It's not good for you, and it does have a taste that should not be in a human mouth. And I can tell that because people who have been alive for a long time are like, I've been eating forever, and I've never eaten anything like this before. It's taken me to a place I don't know if I want to go to. And you're reading them and you're like, how is it this serious? But then you actually travel, because like I've traveled around the world and stuff, and I've been to some of these countries that talk about the Doritos, and I can tell they're gonna get addicted, because when I go there and I eat their food, I'm like, yeah, y'all missing quite a few flavors. Your palate isn't ready. And you can tell that because you'll go to like the Netherlands or something like that, and they'll be like, oh no, don't eat what we make. Go to like a Turkish restaurant or something. If you eat what we make, you'll die. Like, don't do it. We make cardboard over here. Your stomach not ready for what we do over here. We just boil the water and eat it. Like, you know? But I was reading, there was one dude from Poland who was like, I don't know what to do with myself. He said, I'm reading it, I don't know what to do with myself. I've had every flavor multiple times. A friend gave me some at a party. They always started like that too. Like a friend gave me some while I was at a party. They started with that peer pressure type stuff. And that's how you can tell it's drugs for them. They're like, my friend introduced me to Doritos. I was young and innocent. Now I've been running up and down town trying different flavors and stuff. And this dude from Poland was basically, this is like on a Reddit post, and this dude was pretty much admitting that he was extending his stay in the States to spend more time with Doritos. He's like admitting to the open internet that he is overstaying his visa to eat as many Doritos as possible. He is risking ever being able to return to the country. I live in New York, and sometimes I'm walking down the street. Sometimes I walk from show to show instead of taking the train and stuff. And I was walking from one show to the other, and I was passing this bodega. And outside the bodega was a dude that was over here like, you know, just standing there, doing one of these and everything. And I don't know, I've lived in some bad neighborhoods, all right? And when you see this, you know their day isn't going well, right? This right here, if you walk up on somebody and they're doing this, you about to be asked for a favor, right? Like, these are not the movements of someone that's just gonna wish you a good day, right? Like, you're about to hear a story when you see this. And so I'm walking by, and as I walk by, he's like, excuse me, sir. And I was like, oh, that's different. What's up? How you doing? He's like, I was just wondering if you could spare $1 or $2 so I could get something to eat in there. And then I had a $5 bill in my pocket, so I handed it to him. He's like, oh, thank you so much. And to get some Doritos. It's like, I'm an enabler. I've been very excited to come to Dallas and spend time with you, make you laugh and everything. I love coming here because I grew up in Louisiana, and so we would come to Dallas a lot. Yeah, didn't tell you which part. And I would visit, Dallas sometimes growing up and stuff, and the thing that we're known for in Louisiana and in Texas is just amazing food. Right? Things that will change your life, things that you won't forget, amazing meals of every type, Like, we're known in Louisiana for a lot of the Creole stuff, jambalaya and gumbo, everything like that. And then in Texas, it's a lot of the barbecue, a lot of good meats and everything. And then you see people in other parts of the country that will start a whole restaurant pretending to do what y'all do here, right? Like pretending to be the same. And then you'll go there. You might even walk into a, real Texas barbecue restaurant in Pennsylvania. And you're nice, you're cordial, because you're good people. And you sit down and you have a couple bites, and then you're like, no. No. That was good. You tricked me. You got me to come in. That's good. I like what you did there. It's because you got the font right. You got the font on the... That's what got me. You got the print right on the awning. And, ooh, okay. Because this isn't Texas toast. This is fat bread. You did fat bread. You didn't do any... Oh, you won't get me again, but that's nice. That's nice. Got to give it to you. Wow. And that's the thing. Is that sometimes, you have food that people really believe in, but it is bad. It's just not good. Belief doesn't make a meal, right? And especially when I look online, it feels sometimes like we're lost, And I can tell that we're lost just because of what I see happening nonstop. Also online, because you have a forum, because people can comment, I see people say some of the most beautiful things and some of the most hateful things to each other that we know people wouldn't have the courage to say in person, right? Sometimes you're in person and maybe you want to tell someone how great you think they are, but you're worried about being embarrassed, so you keep it in or you just give them a thumbs up, whatever the thing is, right? But online, if you're never going to meet this person, you can really let them have it, one way or the other, good or bad, right? And so I've seen some really hateful comments that I know people wouldn't say if they were in person with the person, right? And when it comes to cooking TikToks, I think some of this hate doesn't go far enough. I think that it's important to really let the people know. You know what I mean? Because you watching whole nasty recipes be made and then people just commenting the vomit emoji. It's like, no. We need to get into their personality. We need to get into their upbringing. We need to get into why they thought this was a good idea. Because they love to do it. They love to make nasty food and then film themselves, no shame, film themselves making the nasty food that should be illegal. The police should be kicking the door open as we speak. And not only did you not keep this a secret, you filmed it. You did an edit, and then you put it out for the world to see. You self-incriminated for no reason. And all this nasty food is somehow world famous or it's Nana's. Stop putting bad food on your Nana. Don't do that. You know she didn't bring you up like that to be making this slop. You know that grandma is turning her grave right now knowing that you're putting stuff like that on her name. Because then the recipes don't make sense. They're like, you could use half a cup of sugar or salt, whichever. And it's like, that's a lunatic. That's an actual terrorist right there. That's wild that you're just telling people that. Why do you believe that? It's upsetting because then, back in the day, you know, this is what I'm told by my mom. This is what I was told by my grandma. You know, back in the day, if you had a recipe that was nasty, you couldn't just broadcast it to the world like that, the way the open internet has allowed us to. You had to poison people one at a time. You had to invite them over to your home. You had to say, come on, no, let me cook for you. And then you had to sit them down. And then they had to smell what was happening and decide to stay. It was a lot that went into feeding bad food to people back in the day. And then maybe if you got famous enough, you could have a cookbook. And then one of the cookbooks, maybe you falling off and nobody knows yet because they didn't make it themselves. But now, you see people, and the videos look good. Ingredients popping up on the screen, and then they pop off, and then they're chopped. And it's like, it's a beautiful thing to watch. But then you see them take a bite of it, and you can tell it's nasty because they only take one bite, and then the video ends. They don't serve it to anybody. Because you know you've been invited to someone's house that thought they could cook but couldn't. And then you took a bite. You're a good person. So you go ahead and you take a bite, and you know when you take that first bite, okay, I'm gonna have to get rid of this. I'm gonna have to figure out a way. If there's a dog nearby, but I'm not gonna swallow. No, you're not gonna get me. You take that first bite, and they're like, how you like it? Oh, you can tell you made something nasty if somebody take a bite and then can I be excused real quick? Where's your bathroom at? They just in that bathroom sweating, just like, what am I gonna do? It's a full plate. Oh, it's really horrible what people have done to each other. You know what I mean? It's just with a straight face, too. And now you got people broadcasting. Come with me while I make my Nana's world famous mayonnaise grapes or whatever. Like, and they don't even know there's anything wrong with it because once again, they weren't brought up with sense. You know? The amount of times I've been brought over to someone's house, and look, if anyone goes to the trouble of cooking for me, I appreciate it. You took your money, you bought the ingredients, and maybe you messed it up, all right? Maybe that's what happened, but I still appreciate the effort, right? As long as I don't have to finish it, you know? Because the amount of times I've been invited to someone's house and been fed shepherd's pie. You can tell from your groans. Like, shepherd's pie is already on the line. Shepherd's pie is crip walking a tightrope of nasty, right? One false step and shepherd's pie has fallen into slop, all right? You can't just do whatever you want with shepherd's pie and make it delicious. That's not how the world works. And I have been fed shepherd's pies that make you go, maybe I don't know how to eat. Maybe I'm the one. You know what I mean? Because I'll bite into a shepherd's pie and they'll be like, what just cut my mouth? Because that's what I hate. If you invite me over, at least know you cook what you cooked. Know you can do the thing that you said you... Don't invite me over and then be like, you know, I just went ahead and threw out the cookbook on this one and just went with the flow. Not with my mouth. The amount of shepherd's pies I've had where I've been like, all right, how good of a friend are they? One time I got invited to a friend's house and he made shepherd's pie and he put he plated us, right? Gave us the bowls of shepherd's pie or whatever and then fed the dog at the same time. And the bowls looked the same, right? And so I was like, what did you do for this to look like this? There's shepherd's pie and then look, I'm gonna lose some of you, but we have to talk about it, all right? I've been invited to friends' houses before where they have served. I won't even say served. They subjected me to their version of pot pie. Pot pie is unacceptable, all right? Pot pie is absolutely insane. First of all, I knew I didn't have money growing up when my mom would take us to Walmart and we would go to the frozen section and she would grab that banquet pot pie, right? That red box of pot pie. In the only condition where a pot pie looks good is that picture. When they pull it out the oven and they do the slit and the steam coming up. And you don't even see. You see the steam and you see the crust of the pie. You don't see the slop that's happening below. You don't see the insanity that's having that hot sludge with peas and carrots and supposedly chicken. You're not seeing any of that. That's not chicken. I know chicken. Me and chickens are tight, right? I know chickens back and forth, left and right, and that is not chicken, okay? That's not chicken at all. I don't know what it is exactly, but it doesn't have the consistency. That's not chicken at all. Sitting there with a pot pie is disgusting, okay? I remember the first time my mama fed me a pot pie. Went, got it, put it in the oven, was telling me about it. Oh, I think you'll like it, everything. And then, she pulls it out of the oven. I remember my first bite of pot pie. I looked at my mama and said, Mama, I'm gonna work so we don't have to live like this. Like this, Mama, I'm gonna change our lives, okay? It won't be like this forever, all right? Because I know you doing your best. Pot pie, the hot sludge that is under the crust of pot pie. And then I had a friend try to argue with me about pot pie. He was like, no, the crust is the best part. Ooh, okay. Wait, if you think crust is the best part of the pot pie, I got good news for you. If you love the crust of a pot pie, I got a good word for you today. There's something called bread, all right? Oh, if you love the crust of a pot pie, wait until you meet bread. Bread, when bread comes into your life, it's gonna change. If you love the crust of a pot pie so much you're willing to endure a pot pie, then get ready to meet toast. You can have dry, crusty, delicious bread that has nothing to do with purple Greek sludge, whatever. Because that's the other thing. It's people's version of pot pie. So I've had pot pies that were just like the standard peas and carrots and chicken or a little bit of beef or whatever. But I've also had ones where they were like, I threw a little goat's cheese in there. I did. This is not up to interpretation. This thing is nasty through and through. Pot pie. Pot pie. Pot pie is white slave food, all right? This is the food of subjugation. This is the food of fiefdom, all right? Pot pie makes sense if this is the 1600s. We don't have to do this. We are Americans. People fly from around the world and overstay their visas to eat our crack Doritos. I've been watching so much news, which is depressing. I mean, it's like they don't tell you about the good stuff. You gotta go find the good stuff on your own. It does feel like, I'm not gonna speak for anybody here, but it feels like, for the most part, I think I feel the way a lot of people feel, which is a sort of disillusion with some of even the process of politics, because we've become accustomed, because we have more access to information than we've ever had, and because we at least see ourselves as more discerning than we've ever been, we feel like we can tell when someone is lying, right? And we've all known and accept that politicians lie. It's to the point now where we don't even really judge who we vote for off of who lied the most. We judge it off of like how many people accidentally told the truth. You know what I mean? Like you look down the ticket and you're like, he got caught in that hot mic. I like that. That was a good one. You know? And I get it. It sucks not just to be lied to, but to when you're lied to, you know, and when you figure it out, you see the manipulation that was at play. And if someone's trying to manipulate you, they don't respect you. They don't care about you. You know what I mean? Even when they say they're doing it for your own good, it's like some of the things, let me decide, right? So we don't like when our politicians lie to us, but I don't know if we really want them to tell the truth either. Imagine a local politician, or maybe your country's representative coming to you and just being like, no, it's bad. I don't think we can recover. This is beyond repair. Doesn't feel great because that sounds very true. I hope you're lying. Some people, offer up the truth even when they don't need to. You know what I mean? And sometimes that's a noble thing, and sometimes it's a very dumb thing. Sometimes it's just an odd thing. Like RFK told the truth this week about... I'll back up. In New York City, in Central Park, in 2014, there was a bear that was found in Central Park. They're not native. There was a bear that was found in Central Park next to a bicycle, right? And no one understood what happened. The police looked into it. The police couldn't figure it out. The internet sleuths couldn't put anything together. It was a genuine mystery, a decades-long mystery up until this week, when RFK Jr., for no reason, told the world, y'all, that was me. That was, I did do that one. So, RFK, as he tells the story, apparently him and his friends were going falconing. I don't know what falconing is. All I know is you took the word falcon and you made it a verb, right? I don't know if falconing means you hunt falcons or that you use falcons to hunt or you just talk to falcons. I don't know what y'all doing out there, but you put ing behind it so I know it involves the falcons, right? And RFK Jr. was on his way to go falconing, and he's on his way, and then he stops in the road because the person in front of him stopped because the woman in the car in front of him had hit a bear and killed it, right? And so RFK gets out and sees that she's killed this bear, and he's like, I'll take it. Which is interesting, right? That's probably one of the last things I would have guessed you'd say when you see a dead bear. And so he takes it, he puts it in his car, and then he goes falconing with his friends, and they're having a good time. I know we're talking about RFK, but for a split second, I want to focus on the woman that was driving, right? Because there are a few shocks that she had to get over within her day. One, you're driving. You're just a woman in the world living your life, and you're driving, and then something runs out on the road in front of you, and you hit it, right? And that is a car accident. Like, we can't forget, this person was in a car accident. Like, I hope she didn't have any injuries or anything. And just a near miss alone can be shocking. It can rattle you for like days or a long time. Depends on what happened. And so she hits this thing and has to get over the initial shock of almost being in what could have been a very bad car accident. And then she gets out and she's like, what did I hit? Was it a deer or something? It wasn't a deer. It was a bear, which is specific. I don't know anyone else it's happened to. And so you get out of the car and you're standing over this bear that you've just hit. And you're also, wow, I was almost in an accident, so I'm shocked. My heart is racing. It's sad. I've just killed this animal. And then RFK Jr. walks up to the other side of your car and stands over the bear with you and goes, I'll take it. Like you were selling it at a yard sale. And so RFK Jr. went falconing with his friends, and they were falconing for a while, apparently. According to him, they were having a great time. So I don't know if the birds were extra talkative that day, or I don't know what was happening. But they were like, you a falcon, you a falcon, you a falcon. And then the falcons, I guess, were like, blah, 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 like I don't know what noise they do. I don't know what they do. But, you know, he's over here falconing. And then they go to dinner, right? Where I'm sure they ate a different type of meat. And he's talking to his friends because the reason he took the bear was to skin it and eat the meat, which I didn't know was an option. I didn't know that bears were running around just big-ass chickens. I had no idea. And so, you know, he's talking to his friends and he's having a great time at dinner, and then he realizes, I actually have a flight. I can't keep this bear in my car. And apparently throughout the entire meal, when he's talking to his friends about the bear being in his car, no one went, what? That never happened. Didn't occur at all. And maybe that's just how they roll as friends. Maybe RFK had a bear in the back and his friend was like, I got 2 giraffes. Like, and you know what it's like when you get 2 giraffes in the back of your car and they get all knotted up and everything. You gotta take them home and then unwrap them like some headphone cords, you know? And so then RFK decides that, you know, he obviously can't keep the bear in his car, and he has a flight and everything, and I guess no one else wanted the bear. And so he went to Central Park, and as a joke, this was like a prank that he was doing, he left the bear with a bicycle that he also had to get rid of. I don't know how big his vehicle is. How big is your vehicle that you got a bear in there and you have a bicycle at the same time? So then he leaves the bear and the bicycle in Central Park and then goes and has his flight and goes wherever. And the next day, no one really got the joke. Like, no one really... The next day, everyone was mostly confused. They were like, so... did someone hit the bear with a bike? Or was the bear riding a bike and then decided to die? Like, was the bear on a bike and then was like, this ain't for me? You know what I mean? And so no one knew, no one put it together, no one solved the mystery until now, because RFK Jr. came clean. Because he was the only one that knew. The other reason that no one solved it until now is that the woman who, let's go back to her for just a quick second. I think the woman that hit the bear and then gave it to RFK or let him take it and then went about her life, you know, she also didn't come forward, because I think the next day when she turned on the news and saw the bear in Central... she had to have been like, nah. There's no way. I like to think that from her perspective, she hits the bear, RFK takes it, she goes about her life, but then the next day, she thinks that RFK thought that he needed to make it look like an accident. Like... I'll be honest with y'all, though. I've stopped getting mad at white people who just call the cops on black people for no reason. I've stopped getting upset. I've started just retaliating. I just like, now if I see a white person doing anything I don't like or understand, which is none of my business but makes me uncomfortable, I just dial those 3 numbers. You know? I'll just be sitting in the park and just like, yeah, 911. She kissing the dog way too hard. This is absolutely unacceptable. This is all tongue out here. You need to hurry. It doesn't look like the dog into it. Please get here quickly. I'll be at the grocery store. I'll be checking out at the grocery store. And there'll be like a white guy in front of me. But he's not buying any food from the grocery store. He getting those weird non-food items that the grocery store sells. So it'll just be like a belt and a knife. I'm like, yeah, 911, please. He looked like Dom to begin with. Please hurry. I don't like the way his receipt looks. I've started just calling the cops all white people who I think are calling the cops all me. We just have a standoff. I'm like, well, I didn't dial first. She did, okay? Well, send one for her, send one for me, okay? They could just have a standoff. This might be too niche, but did y'all see the drama happening with the people that the movie The Blind Side is based off of? All right, if you don't know the story, I'll bring up to speed as quickly as possible. Basically, The Blind Side is a movie from 2009 where Sandra Bullock won the Oscar for playing the greatest white woman that's ever lived. I don't know, I'm pretty sure it goes Joan of Arc, Amelia Earhart, this lady, okay? And in the movie, she drives up her car to what I can only describe as the biggest black child that's ever been, all right? He is supposed to be in school, but he looked like a 43rd grader. This is the grownest looking kid I've ever seen in my life. She drives up and he's like, huh? But like, his shoulders got bigger when he turned. It was insane. And then she's like, come home with me, which historically, oh. But then he comes home with them, and then they're like, you should play football, and he does, and then he makes it into the NFL because it turns out being big is a huge advantage. But now Michael Oher, the guy that the movie is based off of, came out and said that he saw no money from the movie based on his life, and what he actually signed when he was a kid, which is when he thought they were adopting him, what he actually signed was conservatorship so that they could get his money. I know, he thought he was getting a Disney movie, and this nigga got Britney Spears. It's absolutely horrible. And what do you do in that situation? Because it leaves a bad taste in your mouth. All the damage has been done. He may never see the money, and it's probably already been spent. You know what I mean? We can't give him his story back. We can't give him back those years he spent trusting them. I think I have a solution, though. All we gotta do is give Michael 2 free tackles. He can use them whenever he wants. I mean, the cost of the medical bills alone will be exactly the money that they stole from him. He's still a huge man. And we won't make a movie, we'll just make 2 TikToks. 1 for each tackle. And then at the end of the TikTok, you'll just be like, blindsided! I'll be brief because I know people are tired of talking about him. But it does feel weird that Trump is this indicted. Like, goddamn. I thought they get him for something. I think they get him for everything. As someone who doesn't like him, I thought I was following the story pretty closely. And every time he gets indicted, I'm like, oh, I didn't even know he did that one. That's crazy. This man has 91 felony charges. That's more than most gangs. That is absolutely Insane. Man. They giving Trump the full nigga treatment. This is crazy. That dude must check his hands every day to make sure they're still white. Just like, how is this happening to me? And this most recent one is the wildest, because if you aren't familiar in Fulton County, where Trump was most recently indicted, this is the first place where they said that they want to process him at the jailhouse instead of the courthouse. Because if they do it at the jailhouse, they'll have to do the fingerprint and they'll have to do the mugshot, which is what he's been avoiding this entire time, which is what lets me know that he's not a good businessman. He's not. Yo, if Trump got his mugshot taken and put that mugshot on a shirt, it would be the highest selling shirt of all time, okay? Forget Supreme. This would be the highest selling shirt in the history of people. First of all of his fans would buy it because they'd be like, look, free my dog Trump. You know what I'm saying? Like, all of them would buy it. And then we would also buy it. We'd be like, look at this punk ass on this shirt. Look at this goofy ass on this shirt. Struggling ass on this shirt. He could be printing money, and instead he's, whatever. What a disappointment. He'd make so much money, he'd actually be a billionaire. You know what I mean? I had like a weird memory the other week of this thing happening. I thought I'd share it with you. Like my favorite person to spend time with in the entire world when I was a little kid was my grandma. And everybody knows that I was blessed enough to have grandparents. Grandparents, instant daycare. Anytime your parents got to go somewhere, you're chilling with grandparents, right? So go everywhere my grandma went. We'd always have a good time. You know? And I remember when I was 8, especially my mom was working really hard and everything. And when I was 8, went everywhere that my grandma went, which meant I was going to hella funerals. Oh, my grandmama's squad was falling off. Like it was rough. It was like 2 funerals a week. I was like, how many people do you know? This is crazy. They were dropping like flies. And that was the worst part too, is that when you go to a funeral with some of the same people every time, at a certain point you start to be like, which one of y'all is next? Like, this is getting uncomfortable. I was wearing my little suit out, okay? I remember there was one funeral in particular, one of the more rhythmic funerals that we had been to. Everyone sort of had this unspoken agreement that when we were doing the sort of funeral procession of viewing the body, it was like to the music, you know? You walk up, you get 8 bars to grieve, and then you move on, you know? And I remember it was my turn, which meant it was my grandma's turn. That'd be weird if I had a turn all by myself. That'd be insane. If an 8-year-old kid walks up to a casket by themselves at a funeral, they killed that person, all right? That's just an 8-year-old walking up to be like, just checking. And so I'm about to walk up with my grandma, but as we start walking, we notice that the lady that was still up there hasn't moved. So she's either still thinking or like overcome with emotion. Something's happening, right? So we just keep walking. We don't want to stop mid-aisle, and so we walk up next to her. So now it's this lady that I don't know, my grandma, and me. And I wouldn't look this up until years later, because it gave me nightmares for a while, but I didn't really think to Google it yet. Apparently, long after the process has been done for a body to be presented at a funeral, there's still muscles, there's still nerves that can twitch, right? So as the 3 of us are standing there, the woman in the casket went, and even at 8 years old, I was like, hold it together. Hold it together, stay calm. Whatever you do, stay calm. Because look, I've been going to a lot of funerals, right?
But even as an 8-year-old that's going to a lot of funerals, I still haven't fully conceptualized the idea of death, but I know what it's like to ruin a party. You know what I mean? So I was like, just calm down and hold together. I'm trying to center myself. And then the woman on the other side of my grandma goes, "What?" And for a reason I still don't understand, my grandma turned around to the whole rest of the congregation and was like, she moved. And everybody cleared out. We all walked out together. It took so long to calm everybody down. It took so long to get people to come back inside, sit down, chill out. Because there were people outside that were like, nah, I'm not going back in there. No, ain't no reason to grieve if she risen. I ain't playing with that. Y'all can do what you want, but if she up, she up. All right. In fact, she owe me a little something, so when you get in there, tell her that I want my 15 if this was just like a weekend she was playing Bernie. We get back inside. Finally calmed down, finally finishing procession, viewing the body and everything. There was this one woman. I know I saw her, but I caught her because I was sitting second row and I was looking in between two people. This woman hesitant, and she was approaching the body, just, you know. And she went, "Wake up." And even as they were lowering her at the cemetery and they threw the dirt on her part of me, it was like, we don't know. We have no idea. I think the other reason that I'm scared of getting older is that, like, we only really value youth, especially in America. You know, other cultures don't always have this problem, and we don't really value what comes with aging. You know, like the wisdom that you get, or the deep level of empathy, because you've now been alive long enough to make your own mistakes and have deep regrets. And so when someone does something to you, it's easier to forgive them potentially because you know what it's like to make a mistake. All that comes with getting older. All your hard work starts paying off when you get older. Everything you do today will, like, you'll see the fruits of tomorrow, you know? But we still are like, nah, I want to be young. I want to look young. I want to feel young. Act young, whatever. I think the main reason I'm scared of getting older is I finally had a bad fall, and it was like I really felt like an old motherfucker too. It was I went down, like it was terrible. I've been talking all that good shit about Joe Biden this whole time. And then I hit the ground just like him. I was like, because this is the thing, I fought the fall. Like, if I had just fallen like a young man, it would have been respectable. I would have tripped, people would understand it, everything. But I fought it all the way down. At one point, I was horizontal, just grabbing stuff like, non-stop, to the point where I actually pulled stuff onto me when I landed. People who didn't know me were like, ooh, I fell so hard, I didn't let anybody help me up. I needed a second to gather myself. You know? There's a little bit more show left. I want to thank all y'all for coming out. My name is Josh Johnson. Have a great rest of the night. I appreciate you.
I'm just not as strong as I'd like to be. You know what I mean? Like, there have definitely been things that needed to be picked up. But how about this? Very few people in my life have ever asked me to help them move. That's how you know you come off a little anemic to your friends. You know what I mean? Because I actually have anemia. But like, my thing is, if you're in the throes of like being your absolute strong, maybe I've watched too many movies, but I've just want to have like one period in my life where like I walk past stuff and I think about picking it up without the injury that might occur. You know what I mean? There have been people, okay, as an example, I try to be helpful, right? And I was in New York and I was I was on a subway and I was getting up the stairs. I had already got off the train, right? And on the second, there were 3 rows of stairs, right? And on the second row of stairs was a young mom who had a stroller with a baby in it, right? So then I'm like, okay, she already got up the first one. I'm not just gonna assume that she needs help, but the fact that she's doing it by herself and the stroller is hitting every step, she's shaking the baby. Like that's undeniable. Just bow, 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 right? And so then I'm walking up and she looks like she's really contemplating how to do the second and third set of stairs because I think she must also felt like that was a lot of shaking, right? And so then I walk up and I'm like, hey, would you like a little help up? And then she was like, oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. And then I actually go down a couple stairs, you know, so I can like protect my back, lift with my legs and everything, and keep the baby at the right trajectory because now the baby's still gonna be at an angle. He's not gonna be like this and then. So then I grab the bottom of the stroller and I go to pick it up and I put in the effort, but the baby doesn't move. And I cannot tell if the stroller is made of titanium or if this baby is secretly 12. Like, because this is what's so embarrassing about what's happening right now, is that I have 2 people, one of which doesn't have object permanence yet, but 2 people who know exactly what's going on. They know that I've now offered to help and I cannot help. Because as I'm really, like, did you ever see The Sword and the Stone? It was... Because my hams and my quads are wiggling. And so I've got the wiggle going. So I know I'm putting in the effort, right? And I even readjusted and put my foot on a different step. Because I was like, that's a bad step. I don't like that step. That's what it is. That step was too low. It wasn't doing my legs any justice. Let me get up another step. So then I put, but this is a worse position to be in, right? So now I'm lower, and now I'm wiggling. But the thing, okay, so I'm wiggling so hard, and then I look up a little bit, and the baby is like. And I never thought that being judged by a baby would help me access more glute use than I ever thought possible. Because then I look up and the mom is also like, and so then I look past them because they are not helping me right now. And I finally lift it up a little bit. And I get maybe knee height, right? Which this is not comfortable to go upstairs with weight, okay? But I start pushing and I get up one step and get up another step. And I cannot believe that this mom did this by herself because I'm like, this is with help. And so sure enough, climbing up, and maybe a quarter of the way on the second set of steps, I start to feel a pain. I shouldn't say a pain. I start to feel 3 pains. One was in my back, one was in my quad, and one was in my hamstring. And other people are passing us, because I wasn't the only one that got off the subway. And as we're passing by, this other guy was passing by, much bigger dude, but he was like, "Do y'all need help?" Which is devastating. You ever been a good Samaritan and needed a good Samaritan? It was terrible. So then I'm turning to him to be like, I'm about to answer, and then the mom is like, yes. And so then this dude with one hand moves my hand and starts to take up some of the slack, right? And in my head, I'm like, all right, it's gonna be the three of us together. And okay, all right. So this dude moves this hand with this hand, moves it out of the way, and so now I'm just pinching both my hands on this other part, but he really is keeping it level in a way that's devastating. And then he was like, you know, it brightens my day to help out a young, beautiful couple like y'all. Which means that as he was walking up the steps and got level with me, he was sure I couldn't carry my own son. And so I'm holding this one, and he's holding this one with one hand, right? Other hand in his pocket. He chilling. And then almost immediately, this young mom says, oh, we're not together. And in my head, I'm like, you couldn't fake. You couldn't save me the embarrassment for 17 more steps. We don't know this man. I don't know you. We're not together. And so then he goes, ooh, oh, okay. You know, well, we all try to make things work the best way possible. Now he thinks I am an absent father that isn't able to carry my own son. And so then she's like, no, I don't know him. I was like, you really had to throw me under the bus right now. You couldn't just pretend to know me for 15 more steps. And then he goes, oh. And now he knows that I'm a stranger that can't pick up his not son. And I try to help people and everything, but this is too embarrassing. So after about the fourth step, I was like, hey, I'm late. Do you think you could? And then he was like, oh yeah, and then he, both hands, and I walked up the stairs by myself and then ran. When I got to the top, I did not want to be seen again. That was terrible. How are you gonna, we not together? No, I don't know him. How are you? I was trying to be helpful. But I was hurt, like my pride was hurt. And so then I went home and got online and Googled the weight of that stroller, because I was like, this thing has gotta be like at least 100 pounds or something. Try and make myself feel better. Turns out it was all baby. That stroller is 8 pounds. I'm surprised it was holding the kid up. I was watching the news, because at first I saw it on the news and then it spilled over to social, so I was watching a lot of it. I saw where Tyreek Hill got stopped by the police, right? And I don't think he got arrested. I mean, he got detained for a bit, but he still made it to the game and did quite well. But the whole thing was pretty wild, and I made sure to watch like everything that got released, like the full body cam footage and everything, because I saw just so many people arguing about it online, right? And in case you didn't see it, basically Tyreek Hill, who's a football player, right? He is he's driving and gets pulled over, right? And anytime I'm on Twitter and I see like a video of a black dude getting pulled over, I'm like, well, it was a good day. I don't know what I'm about to see. And so, you know, you see the body cam footage of the cop walking up after they pulled him over to Tyreek's window. And Tyreek is sitting there in the car and everything, and then the cop knocks on the window, and then Tyreek lowers his window, looks at the cop and goes, "Don't knock on my window like that," and then rolls the window back up. And as an African American audience member, I was like, uh-oh. And you can tell, even the cop, you can't see his face because it's his body cam, but you can tell he's like, what? What just happened? So then he knocks on the window again, and he's like, yo, keep the window down. And he's like, don't knock on my window like that, right? Don't knock on my window like that. And they just go back and forth. He's like, keep the window down. Don't knock on my window like that. Keep the window down. Don't knock on my window like that. Now, to be fair, by now the window is just down. Like he's just... It's kind of like one of those things where you arguing with somebody, but they are doing the thing you asked them to do, but you still mad, so then you're like, and keep doing it. You just don't know what to say next. You're like, and stay doing it. And so then, you know, he hands him his license and registration, and then he rolls the window back up. And like, look. Rolling the window up on anybody, I've never seen a respectful rolling of the window up, right? Like when I've been out and I've been in situations and I roll the window up, it's very clear what I mean, right? I remember one time I was with my friend Mike in Chicago, and he was giving me a ride home from a show, and there was this one dude that was in the street, middle of the street, and you know, we had a pretty clear, we were in Chicago, and so we're going down like that Argyle area and everything, and we have a pretty clear street because it's so late at night, right? And it's it's like maybe 2:30 in the morning because I had a late show and I stayed to talk with people and stuff like that. And Mike is giving me this ride back, and we've got the windows down and everything. But then we're at a red light, and we see a red light away this guy who's been in the street, and we could tell from the distance, is just running in the street, no shirt on, everything. And then Mike just goes, let me roll up my window because this nigga is making me nervous. Rolling up the window is not both like a power move, sometimes it's also a move of like, I really don't want to look at you right now. And so the cop knocks on the window again, he's like, hey, keep the window down. And then Tyreek is like, yo, just give me my ticket so I can go, right? And as an African American audience member, I was like, oh. You know? And so then cop tells him one more time, he's like, yo, keep the window down before I take you out of the car. Matter of fact, get out of the car, right? So he just immediately decides like, no, open this door. Open the door before I break the window. Open the door, right? And so then Tyreek is like, okay, damn, all right. So he unlocks the door, and then they pull the door open, and they start pulling Tyreek out. He's like, okay, I'm getting down, damn, right? And now they're pushing him down and everything. And he's like, hey, careful, careful. I just had surgery on my knee. And they're telling him. And then the guy, you know, the same cop as before, is like, oh, that's convenient. You didn't have surgery on your knee in the car when you couldn't keep the window up. And I was like, that's not how knees work. And so they got Tyreek down flat on the ground. I can't remember if they handcuffed him or they zip tied him or they just had him with his hands right here. And you gotta keep in mind that this is all for like some speeding. Like if you're speeding and they catch you, they just arrest you because you're speeding that much, you know? Like if you're going the speed of the temperature in Arizona, you're just... you're just going to jail. But all of this happens, speeding a little bit, right? And then, you know, he's on the ground, hands down, everything. He's trying to call someone to let them know that he's gonna be late, which is courteous. And then, you know, I don't know when in the sequence this happened, because then this is from a different angle, but I watched something that was fully put together, right? So I don't know if this one was on police body cam, but this was just like a part of, you know, a part of the footage. And then, you know, Tyreek said something along the lines of like, yeah, another black man trying to drive in America, right? And then the same cop as before says like, oh, I'm Cuban, don't play that shit with me, right? Which isn't quite, like I see where he was trying to get, but no. The 2 points kind of miss each other, right? And then, you know, there was another player who had stopped his car and got out just to see what was happening because he saw Tyreek's car, Tyreek on the ground and everything. And so then he's trying to call somebody, and Tyreek is telling him like, yo, call whoever. I don't know if it's like the GM or I don't know who he wants him to call, but he keeps saying the same name. So then that guy goes, okay. But then the cop sees that guy and goes, yo, you can't stop there. Get back in your car. You can't stop there. Get back in your car right now. He's like, okay, I'm getting back in my car. I was just trying to see what's happening. Don't worry about what's happening. Get back in your car right now. Drive off, right? And he's like, okay, and even as he's moving towards his car, the cop was like, you know what? You too. And then takes him. And it did get to the point where I was like, are they gonna arrest the city? Because I'm not gonna lie, when you drive by, you get curious. You're like, whew. You know, maybe you're in your car and you drive by a little slow. You're like, is that Tyreek Hill? And the cop's like, you can get some too. Like, you know? But it just got me to thinking, like, what, all of this, and our expectation, the fact that we expected it to be worse than it was, you know? Because I want to be clear about something. Tyreek Hill was, if you watch the tape, he was being an asshole because he thought he could get away with it, right? He thought he had enough money. He thought he had enough, like, access or proximity to maybe how his white friends move, you know? That he thought he could be an asshole and get away with it. And I want to be clear, the cops in that situation were also being assholes because they thought they could get away with it. But only one of those two parties was at work. Do you know what I mean? Everybody has a bad day. Everybody can't be perfect, and some people are assholes through and through, right? But being an asshole isn't illegal. One of those parties has a gun, has the ability to kill, has the power to move people where they want them to go, you know? And it's a terrifying thing because my thing is like, take race out of it for a second, right? The way that the police are allowed to move is what creates the expectation. It just happens to get to a certain place with black people more often than not. But it's the way that we're all police and the thing that we all allow as long as it's happening to somebody else that keeps the system intact. You know? And so I've watched the police do all manner of things in different videos to different people, right? But there's a certain place we let it get to in our minds where we just accept that, like, oh man, you disrespected a cop, you about to get your ass beat. Why is that? Do you know what I mean? Why is that? Because I'm not trying to make it as if race isn't an actual issue in it. It's like inextricably linked to it. But at the same time, trust me when I say anybody can get it. I've watched so many videos of people, kids, you know? And it's because of the way that we let police move, and also what we ask police to do, right? There should just be a scanner. If you're speeding, we'll catch you. And I don't have to talk to the dude with the gun. That would be nice. That would be so much better to just, I was speeding, you got me, that's my bad, I was speeding, and now I don't get tapped on the window by a dude that I know is armed that's not having a great day. You know? Because I've even watched, like you wouldn't believe, you know, I've watched my white friends move around the police in a way that I could never imagine, right? But I've also watched them. There's a weird leveling off that happens when it comes to policing, where sometimes white people get loud or get violent with the police, and the police go, I'm white too, so like, let's nix that now. You gotta get your ass beat today. You know? And I've also seen black police tuning up black kids, right? But it's also the expectation that we have of police and the way that we allow them to move that like leads to situations like this. You know what I mean? It's terrifying to be pulled over by the police, just in my view, as a black person. Not even because I'm like, man, this cop's definitely gonna be racist. It's more just what can happen and what they can get away with that's terrifying. And I know that we're not all feeling the same way, but in my opinion, we should all be terrified. Because everything's well and good until it happens to you. And trust me when I tell you it can happen to you. In college, I had a friend who was getting a little drunk, right? He was pretty drunk. And, you know, he got loud with a cop. And I was trying to, you know, dissuade him. But I was doing it from a distance, like a coach. You know what I mean? Like I was... You know, I was like, hey, I know you white, but you're gonna get tased. I'm telling you. The way you moving right now is taser behavior, okay? That white skin can only protect you for so long. You about to get that ass beat, I'm telling you. I've seen too many videos of people doing what you do, and they never end well. And they didn't tase them, but let's just say I did eventually have to yell out, I'll see you back at the door. I don't want these problems.